Okay, so my name's Cindy Carrywater. I was born in 1961, so I'm 62 and a half years old. I lived in Hays all my life, and I'm a member of the Aaniiih Nation. And the land we live on, my dad, Benny Carrywater, and my mom, Valmarie Lodge, we've always lived up here. And then this land is original allotment from Moses Carrywater. Yeah, it's Robe Cloud or Cloud Robe Woman. I was born in Havre, Montana. Yeah, Benny Carrywater and Valmarie Lodge. On my mom's side, maternal side, is Lily Lodge, and then she was raised by her grandpa, old Fred Lodge. And then Fred Lodge was married to Pauline Big Horse. She's a Cheyenne from Oklahoma. And then Fred Lodge's dad was Bull Lodge. And then Pauline Big Horse's parents were Ben Nighthorse and what's his name? Yeah, so our on my maternal side, my grandma and are from their Cheyenne, Southern Cheyennes from Oklahoma. And on my dad's side, my paternal side is Moses Carrywater and Aaniiih Sleeping Bear. Okay, so I have two children, Daly, and she passed away a couple of years ago, and Beth. And my grandchildren are Tadea, Sophie, Amara, Nisa, and Julian. To be kind to each other, to be good, just have a good heart and, be good to each other. Life's too short. And then, everybody believes in something. There's only one God. And then, so everybody prays different and stuff. So I do participate in ceremonies and sweats and go to the lodge and everything. But then I think your religion is up to you. It's between you and the Creator. Oh, I went to Hays Lodgepole School all my life. Where the John Capture Center is, that was our elementary school. It was built a long time ago. My mother used to go to school down there where the John Capture Center is. And then they had a mission school, but we didn't go, St. Paul's Mission. And then it burnt down in 75, 74, so that's when Hays Lodgepole started their high school. After that burnt down, and then that's when we got Hays Lodgepole High School, and then the first graduating class was 1975. They're the ones who picked the mascot, Thunderbirds, and the colors purple and gold. And so, because before that, if you didn't go to St. Paul's Mission, you went to Flange or Chamawa or Riverside or Chilocco. You had to go to boarding school. Yeah. So Mrs. Albertson was our second grade teacher, and she was married to Ben Albertson, and he was like the maintenance guy. She was our second grade teacher. Mrs. Spang was our third grade teacher, and then we had Mr. Beaver was our sixth grade teacher. And then when they started the high school, we had trailers. Where the playground is now, everybody was in trailers, and that's where we went to school in trailers. And then we had a band teacher. That's who taught Ken and all of them. That's when they started their band, Bad Habit and stuff, with that crazy music teacher and everything. And we just had just play guitar and sing, and they played one teacher, Mr. Steele, taught the class below my brother Stacy's class. They played chess. That grade all knows how to play chess. That'd be Tiny Baby in them. They all know how to play chess. That's what they learned there in their class. And then in high school we had Mr. Bliss, and we had a black teacher one time. And then he was really fancy, really dressed nice. He was our basketball coach and his wife. But Mr. Bliss is the one I remember the most. He was our history teacher. And then Mr. Cartwright was our principal. Larry LeCount was our superintendent, and we had George Tall Chief. He was a Cheyenne from Oklahoma. He was our superintendent. Yeah, so we went through a lot of staff. Okay, yeah, we were just talking about this nature. So when you was little, you got breakfast and then you stayed outside all day. And then you ate what was outside. We ate, there was wild turnips, wild onions, rhubarb, black licorice, and then the rose hip petals and stuff. You stayed outside and you ate what was ever outside growing. And then you came back in the evening time and ate supper. We just played outside all day. Play outside, and then that 1 year or a couple times, so where that park is now, there used to be houses. It was Red Zitz's store, and then you had big apple orchards, and then that creek ran down, and it would go all the way down to, that creek runs all the way down past Rockies, and then but then that one, we would go through the trees without touching the ground, all the way from the store all the way down to Flansburgh's house. And then we would play tag, and then we would just walk, and then up behind mounts, there are irrigation ditches, old irrigation ditches is what they are, but we used to call them the girls' waterfall and the boys' waterfall, and we'd walk up there and go swim, and crazy, walk all the way up there in the summertime and then come back. Yeah, you were just outside all the time. Because you didn't have TV, you only had one channel. My mom could understand it, and they would, like my old grandma, her and my Auntie Bertie Mae, Shortman, they would Snowman and Merle Skinner, and there was people that spoke it and everything. And then, yeah, those old ladies would visit Edna Ball and them from Harlem, and Ola and them. So, yeah, there's people that spoke it. The old people did. We didn't, they didn't teach us that. My Auntie Nellie used to speak too. And then people could understand it, some of them, but they wouldn't speak it because they got in trouble when they were little. So they didn't teach their kids. They didn't want their kids to get hit. So that's why they didn't teach us how to speak. When I went to college, I lived off the reservation in Havre for like 1 quarter, and came back, and I just drove to Havre every day for school. I didn't like it, so I just drove. It was good. I liked it. We had really good instructors that 1 year. The years I went, they were really pro-native and everything. There was a lot of natives in school, and they, really made sure that we learned. Our history professors, Dr. Thackeray, and then the economics one, and then our history, what the heck was his name? Our English teacher. Yeah, they were really for us and made sure. So those were good years at Northern. Then I went to, I graduated from Fort Belknap College with the early childhood degree, worked at Head Start, then went on to Northern. Then that summer I wanted to be a librarian, so I had to go to Western Montana College in Dillon and got my library degree. But we did 20 credits in one summer. Went to school from 7 in the morning till 10 at nighttime to get it done. And then so those are the only times I ever stayed off was when I went to college. Yeah, you watched your little brothers and sisters. Yeah, you did dishes, you swept, because there were 7 of us. I had 3 brothers and 3 sisters. And then so, yeah, everybody had to help. And then my mom baked bread. All the parents, all the mothers did. They stayed home, they baked bread every day. When you came home from school, you got baked bread and stuff. So you had to, do dishes and help prepare meals and sweep and mop. And I didn't start washing clothes till I was older, but everybody had to help. Then we had chickens up there. We had chickens and pigs and a garden. Everybody had gardens, and we'd all have to water it and weed it. And then where the by Martin's, where that red house used to be, that was Mattie Turntoe's house, and she used to have the most wonderful garden and stuff, and she had all those lilacs, and she was always tending her garden. and everything, because we used to go visit her. And then she had a really nice garden. But everybody had gardens then. Okay, so they used to have the the summer program, SYEP, Summer Youth Employment Program. And then so we had to wait till he was 14, so did that, worked that. And that used to be all summer long, and I think we got paid like $1.35 or $2 or something an hour. And then they had Youth Conservation Corps, YCC. And then you'd go up the mountains and you'd riff-raff and thin and do the land. So those are the summer jobs we had. Then when I was a senior in school, the tribe had some kind of program, and you got to be a para. You got to be, go work in the classrooms and help the teachers run off copies, correct papers, and stuff like that. No, when we was growing up, they didn't even have powwows. Lodgepole used to have powwows. My dad used to take us over there. They had powwows across from Helgerson's in that field. We would go over there, and then when Lawrencine Brocky married Tim Shappy, they started fundraising, and that's how our Hays powwow started when he came. He's from Canadian, and he's our gonna be our arena director at this powwow too. Last year he was too. Yeah, he's the one who started, him and his wife started the Hays powwow. And then they started doing the Christmas tree dance and everything. Lodgepole always had their New Year's powwow and everything. And Fort Belknap had theirs, but Hays, we didn't have one. That Catholic church really had a big influence on a lot of people here. Yeah, my mom, we would go to church on Sunday, the Catholic church. And then when we lived downtown, because we lived down here when I was little, where Fern and them lived, there used to be houses. Red Zitz was the one who owned the store. Then he owned all these little houses. I think your grandpa Mike has one of those little houses. They were 2 bedrooms and a big room. And then that's where everybody lived, in those little houses. And they had the preacher ladies where the churches, what is it, Ryan, what that church is called, Presbyterian or whatever. And then Miss White and Miss Peabody were the preacher ladies. And then they had church there. Then they would have summer, like summer school. Kids, youth would come in, and then we would do catechism or whatever, and then we would do that. Yeah, so they had 2 churches. Amy Fulton didn't come till later on, her church. Native, yeah, we haven't been to church for years because it was no matter what you did, we finally thought about it. Like, you could be drunk on Saturday night, then go to church on Sunday and be forgiven. And then it was just that cycle. No matter what you did, as long as you went to church and asked for forgiveness, and it was just the cycle. So just quit going. They need a place, a home. They need, so they don't have to go to Chinook or Havre or anything. They need their home. They used to have one where Charity Bushy lives. That house, they used to have a 3-bedroom house. They had 3 people in there, and that was like an elder home. People that needed it, so they need that. And they need to take the mission school back, and then because that nun house where the sisters lived, there's like 8 bedrooms there, and there's a full basement, and that could be utilized. Then they have those new houses, 3 new houses back there, and council needs to get on that and use that school and put an immersion school in there, or all the offices. Tear down the John Captor Center and put another 10-plex there for, the single people, because there's a lot of homelessness. Some, yeah. Like that. Okay, how are you going? No, hello. Used to know the colors and stuff, and then I can't even say my Indian name in Aaniiih. And I used to be able to count. Yeah, if you don't use it all the time and don't have anybody to talk to you, then it's hard. Yeah, so not really. It was hard when we was growing up, but it was better. Everybody was the same. You didn't know you were poor because everybody was the same. There was no car. You know, people walked, and where the TANF building is, that was our clinic. The dentist was downstairs. And then the store, there was no alcohol because they didn't serve alcohol here. So if there was a few people that drink, but they had to drive all the way over to the DY or Zortman. That's why you see all those cars and stuff in the fields, because they would wreck and everything. Yeah, they didn't start selling alcohol here till probably way after I graduated from high school. When Red Zit sold the store to Mr. Pilling, and then he was married to Wanda Mount, and then he moved to Browning, then he sold it to Brenda Essert. That's when Brenda's the one who started selling alcohol here. Because everything was downtown. They had the store where the park is at, and then they had those big houses. They had a lot of houses there. The post office was right in the store. And then they had those halls and everything. They called it dust bowl. Big old halls where they used to have dances at. And then all the houses were down there, and nobody had new houses or anything. That didn't come until the 70s when the housing finally started building houses. And then when you got a house, it was called sweat equity. The parents, I remember my parents would have to go and paint and go help do their houses, do their homes and stuff too, because they were going to be owners of it. So they had to work. That, I know, that's a big issue, the Grinnell, treaty, and that was in 18 when they sold that Zorman, and then so, but then, you know what that, look what he told them. He told them, if you don't sell, your people will starve, and then you'll be crying around, your kids will be hungry and stuff, and we'll tell you, no, that we didn't, you didn't sign, so we're not going to help you, you don't get rations. And then it was, the majority of the signers were Assiniboine, Nakoda men, and then there was just a few Aaniiih men that signed, because the women couldn't sign or, vote and stuff, so. And now, I wish somebody would, like Dr. Teresa Brocky, because all the lupus, the cancer, the autoimmune systems that we have here, if they could do a study, and if it comes from that mine and stuff. And if you look, no family's immune from cancer or an autoimmune system or something, but they're concentrating on suicide now. And then so I want to talk to her and see if she'll do a study on that, talk to all the families, because our population's small, and then to have this much cancer and autoimmune diseases, it has to come from something, unless they're spraying us when they fly over. Yeah, after I got in high school, when I was probably when I was little, probably danced in lodgepole then, because we still had the midwinter fair. And then I ran for Midwinter Fair Princess, and then so I was runner-up. And then, so that's when I started dancing, I think, when my grandma made my dress and everything and stuff. So I started dancing in high school. And then danced, and all my kids danced. My girls danced, and my granddaughters danced, and my grandsons. It was fancy when I was younger, and then now when I got older, it was just traditional. They would, like at funerals and stuff in the Matisse powwow, they would play it, but then like not in my home or anything, or our parents' home, but then you would hear it. Fatty Morin and Ken and Chug and Iggy and all of them, they were Keith Hawley and them, they did that. I don't have patience to bead, so I don't bead. I would crochet and stuff, but I didn't have the patience for bead work. Probably my mom and dad, because they worked hard, everything, and they just instilled in us to be good to each other, because your family is all you have and everything, and yeah. So probably my mom and dad and my grandma, so we was all, oh yeah, just be good to each other, and that's what they would tell us. We have a lot of intermarriage now. When I was growing up, Lodgepole people stayed in Lodgepole. No Hays people went over there. And then when they got the high school built in 75, that's when the Lodgepole kids came and the Hays kids, and then that's when they started dating and intermarrying, and that was in 75, 76. But before that, you didn't go to Lodgepole, to the town, because the powwow was across from Helgerson's, where Ray Paul lives, in that field. So they went that far, but then, yeah, you didn't go over to Lodgepole, and the Lodgepole people didn't come here. So it's better, now it's all intermarried, because you have Hays people living over in Lodgepole, and Lodgepole people living here. Then agency is just transplant from Hays and Lodgepole down there, because that's where the work was, the BIA and the hospital and the tribal office. Okay, yeah. Oh, so it's not a real story. It's my dad. My dad used to tell us stories when we were little and stuff. Then he would tell us, like, when God made people, he said he just had the clay and stuff and formed them into people and stuff, and then he let them bake and grow and stuff. And the first one he left too long and it was dark, so those were the black people. And then so the next person he made, he waited, didn't leave it as long, and then I was pale, so those were the white people. Then the third clay person they made was brown and just right, and those were the natives. Just believe in the Creator God. Believe in something, so you have something, and be good to each other. And if you have an opportunity to go to ceremonies, to Sundance singings, to powwows, whatever, go check it out and stuff. Because nobody's forcing you, to accept their religion, but as long as you believe in something. And I think that's what's wrong with a lot of, they don't have a belief. It doesn't have to be God. It could be a higher power, or belief in your culture. And because our culture is just, coming back. The St. Paul's, the church really messed everybody up and stuff. Even like after all that abuse and, the payments and everything, there's still people here that will not testify against the church, or they will not file the claims that they were abused and everything. And then so when we wanted to take that church back, when we had the meeting and told, when they bring that what is that sonar, where they do the ground, what are they going to find up there? How many bodies are they going to find? And they had an incinerator. I remember when I was little, there was a big old incinerator outside and stuff. And then that's it. My grandma would say, should you go, when they would take the kids, they wouldn't let the parents come, and the parents would camp outside and everything. Then they would let them come home in the summertime. And then she said that it was all there, it was all cornfield or some kind of plants were planted. And then the next year when they came back, there was nothing or something. So, yeah. So just be good to each other and believe in something. Well, I think the internet is the worst thing that ever happened.